Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific, and I wanted to deal briefly with a subject that's becoming more and more and more of not just a national problem in the United States, but a global one, and that is called cyber bullies or cyber bullying. Now, I can speak from some personal experience. I grew up most of my life being one that was made fun of in the classroom, on the playground, in the workplace, and even now as an adult at 46 years old. Unfortunately, when you graduate from high school, the stuff never goes away. You always think that when you get out of high school that all the bullying and the name calling and the teasing comes to an end, but it doesn't. The playground just gets larger and the comments get meaner and cut deeper. I was in a chat room yesterday, and a gentleman that resides in that chat room who has an opinion of himself that I'm not sure what it is. It's not good because in order to be a cyber bully, you're projecting something. You're projecting your own rejection, your own lack of self-esteem, and I notice that there's a couple people that hang out in a specific chat room on Yahoo Messenger, and all they can do is be mean and rude and nasty, making comments about people's glasses, mine. I have been teased all my life for the thick glasses, called Coke bottles, beer bottles, on and on it goes. The ironic thing about cyberbullying is it's very easy to put an end to it. But if you're sensitive, if you're feeling low about yourself, it's easy to get sucked into that whirlpool. And what I'm going to say to people right out, because this is dealing with cyberbullies, in Yahoo you can put them on ignore. When you click on ignore user, you don't hear their voice, you don't see them typing, and they're done. You can block your PMs so that they cannot get through. You can also put your PMs in a single window so they don't fill your screen. And you can get different chat clients to avoid being booted out of chat rooms. But let's talk about cyber bullies. Why do they do it? Because of my biblical belief, people are sinful, and people are unrighteous to the core. The idea that man is basically good is fallacious, and I don't buy it, and I've seen it all my life, whether it's here in Hong Kong, whether it's in the Philippines, Canada, Mexico, or the United States, all around the globe. People are people. Given the opportunity, people will sink to their lowest. The fact is, there are some people that are miserable. They're unhappy. And in their attempt to build themselves up or to get some fetish out of their own puny existence, they start putting down others. And it feeds on itself. And then the other people that are of like mind start jumping in, and it becomes a shark frenzy. Just as if you're standing on the back of a trawler and you throw chum in the water, here come the sharks. And everybody knows who the weak one is in a chat room. People know who the weak ones are online. Cyberbullies prey on people. They are truly predators. And the thing is, you can't change them and you can't stop them. But you can put them on ignore. And if they get too out of hand and they threaten you, you can go to your local law enforcement and see what they can do. Unfortunately, I have found in Yahoo Messenger, people make death threats, make personal threats against property and life often, and nothing is done. One thing I've noticed is that most of the cyberbullies in real life wouldn't do this. They're too scared. They're monitor cowards that hide behind a PC because they know they're anonymous. We don't know what they look like. We don't know where they live. And we've arrived at a new era today of being able to harass people to death and get away with it. It's pretty sad. Unfortunately, the people doing the cyberbullying, everything goes through an IP server, and if anybody wanted to crack down, they could be traced right back to their source. And the day is coming when that's going to be done. There's already discussion on the tables about that now. They are starting to monitor the internet more and more and more, and they're watching what people are saying, what they're doing. But let's talk about all kinds of bullies. We talk about cyberbullies in a chat room. First of all, believe the truth about yourself. Don't believe what a cyberbully tells you. Don't believe that you're ugly. Don't believe that you're worthless, and don't believe what he or she in the chat room is telling you. Believe the truth. Be objective. Talk to your closest friends and ask them to tell you what you are. That being said, it's important that you have a right view of yourself, and you need to have an accurate view of the people doing this. First of all, people that truly care about your well-being aren't going to rip you to shreds and attack you like that. People that do that are shallow, have no life, and the only thing they can do is tear people down because their own life is miserable. Case in point, the gentleman I'm talking to in a Yahoo Messenger chat room is notorious for blasting people, taking control of the mic, locking it down, booting people, on and on it goes. The guy's a drug addict, he is overweight, hugely overweight, and most of the time unemployed. The guy has no girlfriends, the guy has nothing. So the only way he can find any satisfaction in life is to come in and just shred people. It's pretty sad. Chat can be an enjoyable experience, but unfortunately it's become a haven for the malcontents and discontents, drug addicts, obese, lazy, jobless, and other people who aren't aspiring to much of anything, and they find a haven in there to hang out and to roost and to start putting people down. There are some good people that come into chat. Unfortunately, most of the people you find in chat are going to be more in the international chat rooms. I find the U.S. chat rooms, most of them have sunk to low levels of just scum. And when I say scum, I mean people that just don't care. Profanity, pot smoking, drug use, alcoholics, on and on it goes. So if you want to have a good chat experience, choose a good chat room. Choose good chat mates, and select and filter the people you talk to and listen to. Don't believe the stuff a chat bully says. It's garbage. It's not true. And if you were to take the curtain off and see the people that are putting you down, you would find yourself aren't as bad as you thought you were. There are people in chat rooms that I have met that put down people's looks. They never post a photo of themselves, and they never put a recently updated photo on their profile, but have one from 30 years ago when they actually looked decent back in high school. These people are projecting because they know that if they put themselves out there, they will be open and subject to ridicule and a mouthful in return. Always remember the people you're dealing with. Do they have a photo up? Why not? When they're attacking you and what you look like, I get attacked for making videos. I notice none of these make videos at all. They're not going to. They're not going to put themselves out there where they can be critiqued or edited or commentated on whatsoever. When you put yourself out there and you stand up and be bold and be real and be who you are, you're going to get attacked. Cyberbullies don't like confident people, and they don't like people who are sure of themselves. Put them on ignore, put them in the ignore bin, and move on. If the chat room's loaded with too many of these kind of fools, get out of that chat room and find another place. Chat can be good. You have a lot of people that are handicapped, a lot of people on disability, a lot of people that, because of our society today, it's hard to connect with even your neighbors anymore. Chat can be a nice place to be able to talk and have some camaraderie, but again, you have to be very careful. And when you're dealing with cyberbullies, just remember, what they're saying about you is not objective. It's laced with hatred. Its intent is to put you down, discourage you, and to mock you. And what's really sad is the room that I'm talking about is a Christian chat room, and these people are calling themselves brothers and sisters in Christ. The Bible has a whole lot to say about this kind of behavior, and I'm not going to get into that, but it talks about being kind-hearted, tender-hearted, loving, forgiving, and I could talk on and on about the dynamic in some of the Christian chat rooms I have gone into of those that quote Scripture, those that say they're anointed or heard an anointed message, and the next day they're in there just shredding somebody to pieces, cussing at them, threatening them, and on it goes. You also have to realize a lot of people in cyberland are on medications. A lot of them have been diagnosed with bipolar. A lot of them are fried out drug addicts. A lot of the brain cells are gone. So when you hear them attacking you, don't take it to heart. It's easy to wince and go, my gosh, it got me for years. It got me good because I've always been a sensitive person. I'm real. And it hurts. It cuts. But remember, the person you're talking to, ask yourself, what are they doing for a living? Where have they been? What is their purpose in life? And you will find that the same people sit in the same place, in the same boring little town they're in, and they have no life. And they have nothing. Their only existence is living vicariously through chat. Let's deal with bullies on the road and our nation's highways, because this is becoming a major problem today. You drive your truck, your car, or your SUV, or your commercial vehicle, and now you have people getting angry because you're following the rules. We live in different times, so now they tailgate you. They ride out over the yellow or white line and stare at your mirror to let you know, you're in my way, get out of my way. How do you deal with people like that? Number one, do not tap the brake pedal. You don't want those brake lights coming on, because when they see red, they're like a bull and they get mad. I hear people say I brake hard for tailgaters. Don't do it. You do that, and they're going to get aggressive, and they're going to start passing you in no passing zones and endanger your life, and you're the one that's going to end up in the ditch. The best thing to do is to not look at them if you can avoid it. In my pickup truck, I have a topper on it, so all I can see is in my side mirrors. It's nice. They can't see me in my truck until they're even with me. Avoid eye contact. Look straight ahead, but have your eyes moving left to right so that you can see them. Be aware that they're going to pull out and do a boneheaded move. Move to the right as far as you can and let them go. I'd rather the fools be in front of me than behind me. It's getting worse out there. In Colorado, you can call road rage in, but there's so much of this that the authorities can't keep up with it. And remember, wherever you are, the police aren't going to get there until you're long gone. The fact is, Americans and society is changing so fast. People are very impatient. People have no regard for the rules anymore. And if you're trying to do what's right, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. When you have people driving behind you with your high beams on and they're not going to turn them down, I'd signal, pull over to the right, let them go by. It's very easy to get caught up in the road rage. I've had to warn myself over and over. It's very easy to get angry. People are nuts, and it's not easy to deal with road bullies. Bullies in the workplace. You need a management that deals with it. If they don't, I would suggest you find another job. But I would go to the appropriate channels. If you have a person in the warehouse or a person in the office who's causing trouble, go to your supervisor, go through chain of command, deal with these people. When you're dealing with people on the street level, I've had people just for no reason when I'm walking home that I don't know threaten to start a fight with me. And I learned a trick a long time ago that works real good in my favor. First thing you do when you meet some punk on the street is you build up their ego. Say, why would you want to beat me up? You could beat me, man. That usually stops them right there. What? He's not challenging me? Oh, okay. And on they go. When you challenge them, then they want to take you on. If you're big enough to deal with them, then go for it. But when you're my size, you got to be smarter than that. I find that just giving them the ego trip that they're looking for, they usually leave you alone. Bullies are getting worse. They're showing up all over the place. And it happens in shopping malls. It happens wherever you're walking along. You're all the way over to the right. Somebody comes all the way out of the way and slams into you and stuff like that. Not much you can do about that. You can say, hey, excuse you. But unfortunately today, some of them are going to just yell and scream at you. Some people are looking for a confrontation. So, how to deal with those? Not always easy. It's a case-by-case basis. But back to cyberbullying. Again, you can call your local law enforcement people. You can talk to people, especially if you know people in your smaller areas that can talk to you about how to deal with stuff. I would encourage people to turn in cyberbullies. Call the local authorities and the person, if you know where the guy is from that's sitting in the chat room. Make a call down to that town and say, hey, we got a problem. There's a guy coming in a chat room threatening people, and he's right here in Bakersfield. Is there any way you can track him down? And give the ID out. Tell him he says he lives in this area, and see if the local authorities can do anything. They can go in the chat room and go, I know that voice. And maybe they can. They can knock on the door and say, we're getting complaints that you're threatening people. And some have no conscience and they won't change, but some might. There was a case where in North Carolina or South Carolina, there was a lady friend of mine who was talking online and some guy threatened her. He lived one town over from her. He had told her where he lived, and he threatened her, and she disconnected right away and called the police. The police contacted the police in the other town, and they found the guy literally within 10 minutes and arrested him. So it can be done. It can be done. This stuff is serious, and even though it appears that nothing's being done, it can be dealt with. The other thing is, too, sometimes the best thing to do is leave chat altogether. Some days it's so bad in there that it's not worth it. There's other things a person can do online. There's good chat forums that one can go into. Try to find your interests. Try to find your hobbies and try to connect with people that are into that. Those are usually good places to go. Whether it's English as a second language, you're going to talk to people interested in learning English. They're not interested in threatening people and cyberbullying. Or you find people that are into sports or this or that, and you can talk and chat specifically about that, and there's rules about that. You can't go in there screaming and yelling and threatening because they'll just throw you out of the room. There's all kinds of forums people can enter. And then, of course, there's Pal Talk, where you can get one-on-one with people you like, or back to Messenger. You just add the people, select and filter the ones you want, your contacts, and have an enjoyable filtered chat experience. That's my take on it. And again, remember, don't believe what chat bullies say about you. Some of the things can have an element of truth to them, but remember who's saying it. Do they give you your paycheck? Do they give you a place to live? Do they care about your spiritual welfare? Do they care about your physical condition? If the answer to all of those is no, disregard everything they say. Chat bullies are simply that. Chat bullies, monitor cowards, chickens. And in the end, God will deal with them. But for now, this is how we have to deal with them. Ignore what they say. Don't pay heed to them. They're lashing out because they're malcontents and they're upset about something in their own personal life, their own failures, their own sin, their own struggles, whatever. And I find that people, it's like the dogs in a pack mentality. They go after the weakest one every time. And some people are bloodthirsty that way. It's sad that when humanity, especially in America, has gotten so bad that they just pounce and just tear and rip to shreds somebody else for no reason but their own little ego insecure trip. The fact is, cyberbullies are all around us. Bullies all around us on the road. They're in the workplace. They're on the street. You don't even have to know somebody. People that are angry at the world, people that are cocky and arrogant, they're bored. They got nothing to do. They look for a target. And they look for a moving target. And when they find it, don't let them lock onto you. Have a great day. Enjoy your chat experience. And filter those people. Filter them right out of your life. God bless you. And this is Pacific signing off. Bye-bye.